Hey guys, it's Tony W, and today we're gonna learn how to hem some pants. I bought about 9 pairs of new pants, and they're all different inseam lengths. In other words, they're too long for me, so I need to make them shorter because I'm a pretty short person. Anyways, we're gonna learn how to do it. I bought a bunch of these pants a few days and probably maybe a week ago, and some of these are 34 length, some of these are 30 length, some of these are 32 length. They're all different lengths, so we want to make sure we make them my size or my height. So we'll just go ahead and you know shorten them, and it'll be pretty cool. That's how it looks before, and this is what it looks afterwards. It's nice. It lands right where it needs to go, and it's not gonna touch the ground. But with my dress shoes on there. Anyways, but yeah, going back to work, we need to do it. I did ask my mom to teach me how to do this. I don't know how to do this myself, so she brought out her Singer heavy duty 4423 sewing machine. The reason why we're using hers is because it's awesome, and it also has a sleeve shelf, so you actually shove the pant leg in there and you could do a nice round um, sew. And it makes it very easy. Life is very, very easy with that. So she loves this machine. I just got this for her probably about a month ago, and she loves it, absolutely loves it. It's heavy duty. You could go through jeans and stuff, and it has all the settings are easy to reach, and they're also the dials are easy to read too. So she actually loves this machine a lot. So I decided, hey, why not? So she taught me how to use this machine as well, and we'll probably do another video on how to do these use the actual machine. But overall, it's pretty simple. But we'll go ahead and measure these pants out, and then basically shorten them, hem them correctly, and then process all 9 of them within an afternoon. So anyways, starting out the measurement first, the very, very eyeballish way of doing it is basically to just stand with those things and fold them up so that it lands right by where your feet lands, and make sure they're all the same height folded up. So right now, this one I need to take off about 2 inches or so that the seam line or the fold line is right where the bottom of my foot is. So what we're going to do now is basically just mark it. But before we even do that, what we're doing is removing the previous hem so that we get more material. Some of these are like size 30, some of these are size 32, 34. So this one was actually a shorter one. This was like a size 30, and we only want to remove about half an inch to an inch off of this thing. So we needed more material. So what we're doing is removing the old stitching and slowly pulling apart the old stitching so we can get more material. So we have a little bit more to work with. If you're or you could basically ask someone to do this for you. The first one took me about a good hour to learn, but afterwards the rest of them took about less than 20 minutes. So if you think about 20 minutes of time per slacks, and it's not as fast as a professional doing it, but if you have the equipment and stuff, it's very, very easy, and moving forward you could hem your own stuff. So after taking apart the old hem, we're going to go ahead and measure it. We want to measure that 1 inch where that partner is. We're marking where the bottom of the pants is, and this is roughly where the bottom of the pants is, and that way we know where exactly to land, and we're going to measure how much we're going to fold. So the top part we really don't need, so we're going to get rid of that top part, and what we're going to do is just cut that thing off. But at the same time, we're making that mark on both sides so we could see both sides of it. That's where the fold line is on the bottom of your pants, and we just made a quick incision there just as a marker. We really didn't need all this other material. Now, of course, some of these pants have like an overlap. As you can see in the center, there's actually much of a pretty long overlap. Sometimes they're flat enough where you can just sew right over it, which is not a problem. It won't be much of an issue. But some of them are much thicker, so we might have to cut that overlap over. Like this one, this is a much thicker material. It's not. All these pants are actually polyester, and they're really, really thin, really lightweight. They're high performance pants, but sometimes that seam in between is really, really thick. So you want to get rid of that. You just want to cut that part off so you don't have to deal with that when you fold it up and sew it. Then it's a really quick, it's a really quick way to not have a bulge on the bottom parts of your pants. It doesn't look good. So we folded it back up after this one, and we'll go ahead and put that the new hem on, or I don't know if it's called hem, but it's the thing where it's so it won't fray, the anti-fraying sewing thing, cross stitch or whatever. I'm not a professional sewer, but at the same time, she just taught me all this like in about an hour. So I basically took video of it first before reviewing the video and just doing it myself. anyways, we're marking it again 1 inch off the bottom where the fold line or the bottom of the pants is. Again, all the fabric we're working on right now is actually synthetic fabric. So if it was cotton or some other fabric that changes during a wash, definitely wash the fabric first before doing cutting or anything or sewing, because it will change. As you can see, all these are synthetic fabric pants, so they are wrinkle free and have no problems with this even before or after washing. Now, how fast we did it is just measuring the inseam. We needed about 29 inches total, so that's actually lands right there where that line is for the current one. So this is a lot faster. We're double measuring just in case, make sure it is that 1 inch for the bottom of this pair of pants. So for all 9 other pair of pants or all 8 other pair of pants that we modified today, we basically just measured out 29 inches and just cut the bottom off at this point. It was a lot faster than to do each one individually, but of course each of those pants are different lengths. So basically some were 34, some were 30, some were like 31 or 30. So we needed something shorter, so we measured exactly 29, cut it off right there so we could do a quick fold up and and hem it, and that saved us a lot of time. The first one was just a template. These other ones is basically mass produced. Just cut the thing off and just rehem it. So let's get into the hemming settings. So the hemming settings we need is you're setting the foot on there. This is the Singer 4-4-2-3, and your needle position is 1 or center, and then your width is 4, and it just uses a cross stitch, a normal cross stitch just to hold it down. So we start from where the previous seam was. Again, if you had to cut that off because it's too thick, go ahead and do it, but these are super thin fabric and it's super high performance, that fabric, so it just goes right through it, and also is pretty much it's pretty thin, so we don't have to worry too much about it. So starting very slowly, we're doing that cross stitch so that holds it so it doesn't fray. This is just to make sure the fabric doesn't fray when we fold it up. You won't even see this because we are sewing this inside out, so when it folds up you won't even see this this thing. So very quick, after you go through the first one, it took me like about a few minutes for the first pant leg, and then the other one just went so much easier. You just have to get the feel for it. You have to use those guides on that sewing machine. Helps a lot to eyeball it, but the main thing is just to hold this thing straight and stuff. We could also take off this that bottom carrier part so that we could actually use it for either part of the sleeve opening. Go cut those lines real fast. And we'll go ahead and measure out one more time for the bottom of the 1 inch. And this is before we're actually putting the actual hem on there and for the fold up. So we're aligning the seams for the 2 pieces. So we'll put a pin in there so that we could see it and it also won't move. So having pins are very, very useful. Always keep all your shirt pins and stuff, because when you're starting to do alterations like this, you're going to need every little pin to hold this fabric together so that when you use your sewing machine, you can go through it. So every major point would need an alignment, like right there. Go ahead and measure it, and then go ahead and run a pin through it so that it won't move. So we are just measuring 1 inch. We'll run a pin through it. And like I said, sometimes when you, at this point, if that seam between 2 fabrics are way too thick, you're gonna have to cut that, thin it down by cutting it. Or if this thing is a tapered, not a straight pair of pants, you may have to use your dethreading tool and basically open up the seam so that actually is a little bit more looser, so you actually could to sew it together. Again, we're aligning each of the seams together or each of the permanent creases together so that they could, after we sew this, it'll be aligned, and pinning it. So total, we're using about 4 pins for one pant leg. So it should be pretty cool. Again, measuring again, we're being on the safe side. And once we put this last pin in, we could go ahead and do it. Now we're putting the pins so that it faces up so that we can actually feel it. So the good thing about the Singer 4-4-2-3 is that you can remove that bottom tray and storage unit, and it has a sleeve, I think what they call I'm not sure what the sleeve shelf, I guess. But you can put sleeves here, you can put pant legs in there, and it makes it so much easier. So you can actually sew sleeves and stuff, because you can actually rotate the whole thing. Now the needles are pointing up, so you'll know when that next needle is coming up. So you could easily pull it backwards and do it. We're gonna go ahead and start at the seam again, and we're gonna start with a position 1, which is center needle position. It doesn't matter which pattern, because it's gonna be the width is gonna be at 0. In other words, it's gonna be centered. So we're not even going to move it. It's going to make a straight line stitch. So yeah, like I said, I don't know the actual terms of the stuff. All I know is that how to use this. So Now let's go ahead and set it. Like I said, the pattern doesn't matter. It's 0 for the needle position, so for the width I mean. So you really don't have, it would just put a straight line down the center of it. And we're using the guides on the sides to actually make sure it's about 1 inch to make sure our guides are right. And we're going to run this pretty slowly. And you can see we're still holding the pin, and we're slowly doing it the first time. And we're just making sure that foot is aligned with the that cross stitch as like a guide right now. And you want to always slowly pivot your cloth to make sure it's nice and straight. So as we move forward and we get to that pin, we will go ahead and pull that pin out. And that's the first pin we got out. The first pin we actually started with, we actually had it pinned behind so it doesn't move the fabric. So going over those seams slowly, you want to make sure that the feet is kind of sledding over this thing. And as you see the next one coming up, just make sure you hold on to where the position is so it doesn't misalign from where the pin was holding. So be very, very careful, very slow. Slow is quick in this world because you don't want to get any mistakes in this thing. Anyways, we'll keep on going. We're using that sled or the feet to go along the cross stitching, so it keeps it nice and aligned. After we do this, we're going to have to basically iron the bottom part to make that crease back again. You could basically put a flat iron to that and just iron it really quick, and put the original crease in, and also flatten the bulginess of it. As we get past the original sew, we'll go sew over about 1 inch so that we don't have to reverse stitch it to lock it in. So pulling this all out, we'll go ahead and cut the threads off. You notice that the thread is white. It's because this is a how-to video, so we wanted to see it. For our darker slacks, we basically switched out to a darker thread, like a dark navy blue, and it just disappears. You wouldn't be able to see the stitching on it, which is really nice. To finish this, we'll go ahead and quickly iron it to put a permanent crease on the cuff. It makes it really nice. And this has been great because all 9 are done in less than about like 3.5 hours. And I had time to spend good quality time with my mom learning this, and it was a really good bonding time with that. Anyways, guys, this is Tony W. I hope this is helpful to you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.